Hi everyone, I'm Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker and welcome to Game Points, my quick review on board games. So let's go ahead and go into Rurik, Dawn of Kiev. This is from PieceKeeper Games, sorry. And it's a Euro game of, I think somewhere medieval Russia or Eastern Europe. And you're trying to control the land, control the goods, and try to build as many buildings as you can. So let's go ahead into the overview. First of all, you need three main things to win the game. The first one is to rule. This is where you have to rule, I guess, meaning that you have to have the majority in the board on certain areas. You need a number of those areas. The other one is to build buildings so that they're continuous to each other. And the last one are the goods that you collect, which is called taxing in the game. The main engine of the game is the claim board. This is kind of where you're some sort of quasi worker placement. It's not really worker placement. You're going to, or it's more like action selection, but you're going to put your guys into this claim board onto the top. The first ones go first, and followed by twos, and then the fours and fives. You're going to get some of the other ones later. So what's happening is that the workers are then pushed down into the lower part of the board, which is more expensive, and the actions are also kind of not as effective. But also the those ones, the smaller ones, do act first, while the bigger ones get the more better abilities later. But what you could do in this game is you can add money to your weaker workers, and you can bring them up, making more strength than some of the other workers, so they can stay on top and act first. So when everyone is done placing all their workers onto the board, then you're able to resolve. Starting with the ones, twos, threes. Threes will happen later, you get them later. Fours and fives, and then you're going to activate those actions. So mainly what you're going to do is there's movements around the board you can do, so you can kind of claim the lands around there. You can muster, you can bring more troops onto the board, hence getting more lands. You can build buildings. Buildings have this special effects in there, and then tax is going to, of course, give you goods. The game is played in 4 rounds, and of course the goals, like I told you before, is that you're trying to rule the lands, at least by the end of the turn, because these are actually checked at the end of each round instead of at the very end of the game. So you're able to control 7 of the regions around for 1 round. Then you're able to get those points for the end of the game, and you can lose them later on. You also just points for battling, points for how many stuff you have in the board at one time, and of course how many buildings that you have at one time as well. Other points is accomplishing deeds and your secret objective as well. So the player with the most points at the end of the game win. Alright, and now off to the review. Let's start with presentation. I really like the presentation of this game. The overall graphic design, like from the board, which is divided into different colors where you can know which how far you can go in different regions in a specific numbered game, a player game, that is. The bits, the meeples, and then there's also the miniatures in there. Those are really nice. Also the leaders are really cool looking too. They're the bigger pieces as well, and they're really detailed. There's also the wooden bits for the resources. And the rulebook. The rulebook's really nicely written too, and it's not a lot to read too. It's easy to understand, and the last page is just basically solo play. So that always makes me happy. Like, oh, I don't have to read the rest of the book in there. For me, the star of the game, or at least the main engine of the game, is a really good one, which is the claim system. The work. I can't really explain. I just call it worker placement, but you just push people down in there. That is something that is cool. That is. I think I don't know exactly if some other games have it, but this one definitely really pushed the button on it a lot in there. And so this is really the makeup of the whole game. It's like, well, where should I put this? How much money should I put this in there? You maybe want to make a little money engine in the game, so you can have your smaller guys, so they can act first with the nicer actions in there. So that's something that is nice. As a modern Euro, there is kind of this battle in there. Something I don't really like, big miniature games with a lot of dice rolling and battles and see what's the outcome. This one doesn't do this that much. I mean, it does it in a different way. It is important still in the game, but it's not overtly driven with the rules in battle. It's very simple. You just have to you're going to go battle, you kill a person, but you might have people lose in your battle. You just have to have, you have to know when to move, when to dominate a region, and it's more strategic in it than tactical. So which is something that I do like in these more modern Euro games. And of course, there are the leaders, and they have really nice miniatures, nice sculpts to them. They're even though they have, I feel even though their abilities are kind of like small, you get like 1 or 2 lines of their abilities, but they're cool at what they do. They do have their personalities in the game, and that's something I like. Anyway, moving on to some things I didn't like the game. First of all, there's for a game like this, there's not a lot of points in it, and I like a game where you can get tons of points, and it looks like that you like, here's a little point over here, here's a little point over here, and it gets a little tight. It doesn't feel like you're accomplishing much in the game, but I guess that's kind of my feeling when I'm playing games that has smaller point values in it. In the game, there are these deeds. The deeds are another way to get points in the game, and you only get 3 of them in the game to use. You have to use as an action, trying to claim it to get the points in there. You get a special things in there, but I find it, for me, it feels that it's lucky if somebody gets the right card you get, because you get them at the end of each round and you're trying to complete it that way. Something that's like, oh, it's only, even though it's worth just a few points, it's something that it's very dismissive for me. And the last one is agenda. Again, this is another thing about just points in the game. But if one of the biggest things for it is like, well, because the agenda is the secret objectives in the game, is like if it doesn't match your leader, it's something that's going to, you have to push and get points. It is worth, I think, 2 points, really. So it's a very small amount of points, but I think, again, it is a small point game that it's going to be important to decide if you're going to win the game. And so that was Rurik, Dawn of Kiev from PieceKeeper Games. Go ahead and check this one out. I find this game to be excellent. I like that claim system in there, which is, I think, the heart of the game. I like the leaders in there. It's also overall a very good looking game to look at as well. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys so much for viewing the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, and we also have a Patreon too. Okay. Thank you guys again, and remember to keep on stacking games. Come follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and check out our website, thecardboardstacker.com. I'm Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker, reminding you to keep on stacking games.